Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today and Tarot. My name is Mel Rose. This is the Tarot portion in the second half of my daily astrology vlog, which you can check out on my other channel, Astrology Today with Mel Rose. Here, I will discuss the card that sits on the side of the page. Then I'll do a quick review of the day's aspects before I play another card that may give us something more to think about. So let's get into it. The card that currently sits on the side of the page is the Seven of Wands, and it sits here because it represents the last 10 days or the third decan of the sun's transit in the land of Leo. And we can see that the sun is in transition today, so tomorrow we will not be using this card anymore. But for now, Leo is a fire sign, Wands and Tarot are fire, and fire element symbolism is about that drive, initiative, spark, motivation, those feelings that arise that make us want to move into action, go forward toward the achievement of some goal, okay? And in the Seven of Wands here, we see a person who has gained some prominence. You see this person has this sort of higher ground in the battle that they're fighting. And so it's really more of a defensive position. You know, it's not an uphill battle. It's more like you have the high ground and you can probably win this competition. But also there's a question that says, if you are in fire mode, if you are, trying to move forward and, achieve great things for yourself, then is standing around trying to defend the prominence you have already gained something that is worth the time for you, right? So we may, while we stand here and face our competition, the people who are trying to sort of take some of our prominence for themselves or get us to share our prominence with them in some way, or just knock us off of our prominence altogether, at what point do we stop worrying about those things and turn our attention to using the prominence we've gained to parlay into a greater achievement? And with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and shuffle some cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Leo, at least until about 10 o'clock tonight when it makes ingress to Virgo. Sun in Leo is a really active time of year. We debate and we celebrate and we work for the stuff we desire, and mostly what we desire at this time is recognition and appreciation. So most of the things that we do, like debating and celebrating and working, are in the interest of gaining that appreciation. Venus is going to stay in Leo a little bit longer, so we're likely to continue expressing our appreciation for others in this grandiose Leo style, all heat and glamour. Mercury is at home in Virgo and stationing to go retrograde soon. So our plans and conversations have likely begun to revolve around how we can find solid ways to live out our stated values. Mercury and in Virgo can make us very busy when it comes to the day-to-day stuff we deal with. So don't forget to give yourself a break from time to time. The moon today is a waning crescent and it is right at home in the sign of Cancer. So we're practicing release at this time, or possibly even sacrifice as a form of self-preservation. We place a strong emphasis on the peace in our homes, and we seek to get rid of or eject anything that isn't contributing to our own well-being or to that of our homes and our families. On the moon side of the page today, we just have a couple of aspects. Moon goes square to Jupiter this morning around 11:10. And, this can represent a time when our moods are in fluctuation, sort of our tastes are in fluctuation. The things that we normally would like don't necessarily appeal. And so we might look around for other things to fulfill this sense that we are growing and expanding. But just make sure that the company you're keeping or the other means that you pursue for feeling as though you're expanding don't actually represent sort of a lowering of your standards just to feel good about it, right? And then at 4:58 this afternoon, Moon makes its apogee, so it's at its farthest point from the Earth in its orbit around the Earth. This is our emotional and intuitive life sort of buffered by a distance, okay? When the moon is at its apogee, it has less effect on the tides, how the waters work in the world, and it also has a less strong effect on how our emotions and intuitions work as well. So, lately that apogee has been coming along in Cancer, and I find that very helpful because being a Cancer rising, I kind of feel everything very deeply, and especially when the moon is in Cancer, it's a very emotional time for me. So it's nice for that apogee to come in and just give me a little bit of space between myself and the way things feel sometimes. There are a few things happening on the sun side of the page here. Mercury goes trine to Pluto today, also at the same time that the moon is making its apogee. So interesting. How do we feel about that, right? Mercury trine to Pluto, we can be very persuasive at this time. We can talk people into things. We really kind of believe in the changes that we want to see happening, and the transformations that are possible for ourselves and others, and we can use our powers for good to communicate with others and affect transformation for the better in our lives and the lives of people around us. And then the sun goes into Virgo tonight at 10:16 p.m. Central Standard Time. And when the sun is in Virgo, we embody what we value. Okay? We embody it by showing it in our actions. So we like to see improvement in ourselves and our surroundings. We understand that to be important work, and it helps us to maintain this feeling of balance and equilibrium, and therefore a structure that we can rely on. In the ongoing column, we still have 3 trines going on here, and I just think that's a real blessing. Mars and Pluto is blessing us with this power of intentional transformation and action. However, the sun's quincunx to Pluto has been exposing us to some realizations, perhaps about past behaviors in relation to ourselves and others, and also giving us an opportunity to notice how we have changed for the better. Also, Sun has been in opposition to Saturn, and this aspect has had us noticing where we feel limited and restricted in our work. So when we take all of that together, we're given some examples here of areas in which we can use this beautiful Mars trine Pluto aspect to make transformations just by taking action. First, we notice the things we've done in the past that sort of put us in the way of our own growth. Second, we notice what external forces appear to limit our growth. And having noticed these various ways in which we restrict ourselves or we run up against limitations in the outer life, we are now empowered, to act on a conscious intention to level up, to get past those old barriers that no longer apply to the powerful, rational, caring, creative, capable, loving people that we are becoming. And Mercury is trine to Uranus. That's just through today, okay? Uranus goes retrograde in 2 days, and so that's going to be a time when only the things we didn't expect to happen are going to occur. But for today, we have this beautiful blessing of power to imagine all kinds of things regarding the unknown, and to take note of any good news, any positive revelations, or interesting new ideas that come up, even the oddballs. Mercury is also opposite to Neptune, so recall that today Mercury went trine to Pluto. These are sort of balancing aspects to one another, because with Mercury trine to Pluto, we can sort of be silver-tongued, and we can persuade people of things that might make positive changes in their lives. But with Mercury in opposition to Neptune, we can be a little bit open to convincing, a little too easily convinced about things, perhaps a little innocent and guileless in our willingness to believe in the things that other people are saying. So, pay attention to that, okay? We don't want to be the person who is saying things to fool somebody into making a change that would not work for them, right? This trine blessing is about using your powers for good to persuade people to make positive transformations. So, and we also just don't want to, fall prey to somebody else who might be using their powers not as much for good. And then Venus is trine to Jupiter, and that's just through tomorrow. As I've mentioned before, this represents an opportunity to grow on the inside, to figuratively expand the capacity of our hearts and minds to receive and hold more of what we like, love, and can't get enough of, okay? So I like to think of this in terms of things that I'd like to have, but I currently do not. Take winning the lottery, for an example. Lots of people win large sums of money in the lottery, and most of them don't manage to maintain their wealth over the long term. So it can happen that we gain the abundant blessing of something we aren't prepared to take on, and then we run the risk of losing it all because we don't know how to handle it. If you get that dream job, if you attract that dream lover, are you prepared to be everything a solid situation, a solid circumstance might require of someone in order to build a strong future for yourself? And there's always more personal growth to be had, so it's a good idea to plan ahead and be the kind of person who has the capacity to manage bigger things. Retrograde season unfolds a little bit differently every year, and it's appropriate that the season is changing at this time from summer to fall because we've just begun the work of personal transformation that these retrogrades call for. I am encouraging you now to look at your personal charts, find these planets, Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, Jupiter, the asteroid Chiron, okay? All outer life, big picture planetary bodies, and find where they're placed in your chart, in what sign and what house, and that can give you some idea where this review and self-assessment might be taking you. And if you look it up and you have questions about it, it's okay to, reach out to me, comment probably in the comments section here, and I will do my best to help you sort of interpret and navigate what that might be saying for you. Coming up, well, we don't do coming up on this side, so with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and turn this card over. We got the King of Wands. Okay, so wands and wands, we're going out in a very fiery, passionate way. And I love it. I love it. So King of Wands is, well, any king is a person who is accustomed to getting their way. And you see the way this person has this determined look on their face, and their hand is sort of balled into a fist. This is like willpower. This is drive. This is motivation. It's sort of a singular focus on where, on what we want to achieve at this time. And this takes me directly to Mars trine Pluto here, and the Sun transits as well, because there's also this sort of clarity about where we've been when you're dealing with wands. We've had it illuminated for ourselves, maybe some of the ways in which we benefited by taking advantage of the weakness in a situation. We've also gotten to pay attention to some of the ways in which the outer life seems to limit us. We run up against sort of walls and limitations there. But overall, we've got this beautiful Mars trine Pluto aspect saying, whatever it is that you want to transform at this time, whatever it is you're determined to have, okay, determined to make a start on or determined to finish, you absolutely will get there. Okay, you just have to do the fiery thing and take action and move forward. Take advantage of the initiative and momentum that you find in your passionate heart. And then taken together with the Seven of Wands, again, I think this is just a reminder that, the Seven of Wands, this person is not a king, okay? They're not royalty at all. They're just a person who has accomplished some things in life and gained a little bit of prominence, okay? But their trajectory, one would hope, is eventually to become royalty, to become the king, right? The king is sort of the ultimate expression of being in control of that fiery impulse, that initiative and drive. So, I kind of see this King of Wands looking over here at this person, and they look kind of frustrated, even like, why are you doing that? Right? Why are you standing around defending the prominence you have gained when you obviously still have more work to do? You obviously still have bigger goals to go after. I believe that's, that's the primary message there. And just to be reminded of your determination, your dedication, and, the things that inspired you in the first place to set out on this journey of drive and initiative. to make the fresh start that got you to this place of prominence. Okay, that has worked for you so far. If you're going to stop using your initiative and momentum at this time so that you can turn around and fight with some people, then you're going to lose initiative and momentum. So remain dedicated, remain determined. Keep your eyes fixed on your larger goal and not on these people who have something to say about what you've done so far. I believe that's all I have to say about it today, friends. Thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate your presence here. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today and Tarot.